The Mandatory Downtime Podcast contains adult topics and language. You have been warned.
Recording is on.
Hooray! Okay, so this is us, the Gearbox Union, doing podcast stuff again.
Indeed.
But okay, yeah. So Beth, I'm gonna tell you how we do this, since you're kind of heading up the effort. So we count, and then we start the podcast. Okay.
Okay, that works.
Okay. Do you know how to count?
No. Why don't you count for me?
Okay. So, which way do I go? Okay, 5. I'm literally doing it to myself with my fingers. 4,
6,
3,
9,
2,
Root
1. And then after I count, I do the thing up front where I tell the people what we're doing, which is the Mandatory Downtime Podcast Social Distancing Edition.
Yes.
That's what we agreed on it, right?
Indeed.
Okay. And then I say about how we're the Gearbox Union and we raise money for the Children's Medical Network hospitals through the charities of Extra Life and Child's Play, trying to just help their lives be a little better while they're dealing with medical issues and whatnot, and just trying to cheer them up as well. And we love doing it and love all the people that support us. And we like talking about nerdy shit. So that's what we're going to do.
Indeed.
Yeah. So you think you can do that?
I think I can do that.
Okay, go ahead and do it right now.
All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Why doesn't anyone mess with her?
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Gearbox Union Mandatory Downtime Podcast Social Distancing Edition, episode 201. We are the Gearbox Union. We are a charity organization that hangs out, does some nerdy stuff, and raises some money for sick kids through the Extra Life program, as well as the Child's Play organization. With me today, I have John Kimball.
You mean Joe?
I have Joe. Indeed. I have Joe, Lee,
Wait. Say that again. Say my name the wrong way.
John Kimball.
That's not my name. That's not my name.
Valid. So I have Joe, Lee.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so proud of you, Bethany. You're doing such a good job so far. I hope you keep in the first part because I talked.
Fair. Andrew. And
My name's Shaniqua, and I don't live here no more.
I think we need to start over.
May or may not keep that part. We'll see.
No, you have to. The trick is that you keep everything.
That's valid.
You
That's
keep
valid.
everything, and you let the people have it because that's
Yeah, I sound like a Shaniqua.
Totally.
yeah. And I'm so proud of you too because you remembered to, say who's here with you with names when I forget that all the time.
Fair enough. So this is our first attempt at a social distancing podcast. So I'm apologizing in advance, but we're going to see how this works. I hope you guys enjoy it.
That's the other thing about the Gearbox Union podcast is that we never apologize.
Yeah.
All right, so I broke rule 1.
That's strike 1.
People
I'm
know
actually
who we
sorry
are. And
that
what
we
are.
don't apologize.
That's valid. All right, well, the heck with it. Just deal with
The heck I say.
it. All right, so we're going to try something a little different with this podcast and moving forward, we're going to have a little bit of a different format, I suppose, than what you may have witnessed in the past from us. We're going to start out with some announcements and some general introductions in case you've never met the folks that are on the podcast with me today. And then we're going to go into how we are all handling the social distancing / mandatory isolation. At least it feels like mandatory isolation at the stay at home. And then we're going to review the Resident Evil 3 remake today. So hang tight.
Specifically Resident Evil Resistance.
Oh, fair. I apologize.
The multiplayer component, because I don't know about Joe, but I really haven't played like the single player game at all.
We're gonna get to that.
I just wanted to make sure the people knew what part of the game we played.
It's called a teaser that went too far.
Yup.
It went from a teaser to a tickle instead of.
Hey Lee, do you see that
stopping at the
line?
teaser.
You crossed it.
Okay. Does that mean it was just the tip?
Oh boy.
Moving on.
Moving on. So, friends, why don't we go ahead and go around and kind of, give a little shout out for your streams, because I know we're all doing the Extra Life program this year again. Some of us, I think it's at least our second or third year. I know for me personally, it's my fourth year doing it. So it's a lot of fun. And Joe, why don't we start with you? Go ahead and talk about your Extra Life effort, and maybe give a little shout out for your stream and kind of what you do with it.
Sure.
This feels like inside trading.
I know, right? So yeah, so I this is my 6th year of Extra Life, so this year my goal is $5,000. Last year I was able to hit that, and I'm looking to do it again. I know it's no easy task, but I feel like if I can do it once, I can do it again. As far as goals and incentives for this year, I have some ideas, but this whole COVID-19 thing has kind of paused some of it because it requires resources that I can't get to currently. So I'm starting off now that if I can reach $250 raised for Janet Weiss Children's Hospital, I'm going to be playing a scary game, because that seemed to have gone pretty well last year. So right now, I think that I'm going to be playing Dead Space, the original one. A lot of people told me it's a good game, good story, and it's a lot of jump scares. So you can catch my streams on the official Gearbox Union Twitch. I stream mostly during the week. Try to mix it up, but lately I've been doing a lot of Final Fantasy VII Remake because it's out finally after 6 long years. So I'll pass it off to Andrew.
Wow, I feel special. So yeah, my goal is not 5,000. My goal is 1,000 this year. I've reached 500 the last 2 years. This is my 3rd year. My streaming, the handle is Iztoz, and that's IZTOZ, and on Facebook it is Iztoz Gaming.
Woo!
So normally I'll say I've been streaming a lot of Modern Warfare, which is like a battle royale game.
It's a lot of fun to watch and play.
I'm not very good at first-person shooters, but this one is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of different game modes. And then I also stream World of Warcraft. We do Mythic Plus pushes. So far, we've pushed to a plus 15 key out of 20. So that's always fun to watch. Lee?
Yay!
Can I make a comment real quick?
Yeah.
No.
So I don't know what mythic pushes are, but I know from experience that when I've done a mythic push, I ended up having to have part of my colon removed.
No, it was, I guess a Mythic Plus is not your morning constitution.
Hey, you don't know his poops.
And I just want to say, I did a pretty good job at filtering that. But no, so it's World of Warcraft. The dungeons in there, you can scale them, and so as you go a plus key or the next key, it increases its hardness by usually by a specific percent. And then you also have to time it as well.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know because I wasn't sure what that was either. I play
I
well.
laugh because of hardness.
Yeah, no, I caught that.
And Lee's 5.
I am. Hi, I'm Lee. How you doing today? I do a bunch of stuff with the Gearbox Union. I think people know that and stuff. But shut up. But so my goal this year is also $5,000. Me and Joe Bear have a fun rivalry every year. I think this is my 6th year doing Extra Life as well. But I'm also not sure about that. But so I just I don't know. I really like helping sick kids and helping them get better and have a positive experience while they're in the hospital, as positive as they can. I also do streaming on the official Gearbox Union Twitch channel. Lately, it's been Resident Evil Resistance. I like doing a lot of multiplayer games. We do Jackbox, Overcooked. That's been my focus. I'm a giant fan of couch co-op games. Are kind of my favorite. But yeah, yeah. Bethany.
Thanks, Lee. So this will be my 4th year of doing Extra Life. This year I am aiming for $1,000. Last year I hit 500. So I'm gonna try and push a little further this year. My stream Twitch handle is Loyal Blue Fox 28. And mostly recently, I guess I should say, I've been trying to stream a little bit more. I did come up with some sort of streaming schedule that I'm going to try out starting this week, actually. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm currently working through playing Final Fantasy VII, the original version, because I had that as a stretch goal last year, and unfortunately, life kind of got in the way, and I wasn't able to complete that before the end of the year. So, trying to work through that, as well as trying something a little different this time, and doing some story time on stream. So Wednesday nights, I'm going to start reading The Wonderful Wizard of Oz from back in the 1900s. So that should be interesting. Yeah, I am starting to really enjoy streaming a little bit more, so I'm trying to do it and focus on it a little bit more often. I am currently 6 followers away from the 50 follower requirement, so that's super exciting.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so getting close to that.
Yeah, and I think Andrew, you're getting close to that too, aren't you?
So no and yes. I have 20 on Twitch and I have 24 on Facebook.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't given that a try yet. I might look into that at some point, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I did have this as of the 15th of this month. We, as a team, have raised $356 for Extra Life out of our $20,000 goal. So I did have that for everybody.
Whoop, whoop.
We're actually at 435 now, Beth.
Are we? All right. Thanks for checking that for me. I didn't look today, so that's super
Wow,
awesome.
we are really ahead of usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going.
So that's super cool. Thank you everybody who's listening and who's donated either this year or in years prior. It's super cool that you guys are helping us help the kids.
Yeah.
Because that's super important to all of us. So yeah, so there's that. Next order of business, miscellaneous GBU news. Do you guys have any news for the good of the order?
Miscellaneous news. I don't know, but miscellaneous news.
We're working on the website. We had a hang up. The world caught on fire in the middle of us starting to get everything together. But it is still in the works, and it will get done, which will be pretty exciting.
We're also starting the podcast back up.
Yeah, so I guess that in itself is some interesting.
Yeah.
Wait,
news.
really?
Yeah.
Is that like an Inception moment? I don't know.
It's a podcast inside a podcast.
Inside a
Whoa.
podcast.
Ooh, just brain explosion.
But yeah, that's
We recently took part of Extra Life United 2020, the online edition.
Oh yeah, do you want to talk about that a little bit, Joe?
Yeah, how'd that go?
Forgot.
Sure, it went terrible.
I spit my tea out.
Yeah, it was fun. Lee got to participate this year. We had participation from A Dangerous Mix and also from Blair, who also raises for the Children's Miracle Network, Janet Weiss, out in Geisinger.
yeah.
So those are the familiar faces. We did really bad.
So Blair did good by winning games of Tetris 99, and she raised some money. Me, Dangerous Mix, and Joe were terrible at Rocket League.
Yes.
It went real bad. Well, I mean,
Well, Dangerous did the best out of all of us.
Yeah, Dangerous did the best. I won one match legitimately, and then the rest were buys. So that's how I got so far. It was still low. And then Joe.
I blew out two people. It was like 13-1, and then after those two games, I played somebody who was totally a tryhard and really stuck it to me.
But also, Joe did real bad at Lethal League too.
I did. I did terrible at Lethal League.
You know, since you have that now, I would not mind playing you in that.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I have it too. But yeah, it was fun. It was, how do you want to put? I applaud them being able to throw together as quickly as they had to. It was, like I said, the everything that's going on right now has thrown a lot of events and stuff. And I mean, they could have, Extra Life could have just canceled and figured out some other way, or just distributed the money evilly or whatever. But it was very nice for the community as well, because it's not just for us and the gamers and stuff. All the kids participated as well. So there were some wrenches thrown into the gears and some hiccups, but generally the event was very.
I believe it was a virus, not a wrench.
Yes.
Touche.
Yes, it was. Touche, good robot. But yeah.
Andrew, I think I'm going to now refer to you as Andrew the robot.
That's fine. A lot of people do now.
Yeah. It was all my fault.
Good job, Lee. Good job.
Yeah. I'm proud of that.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for kind of talking to that, because all the games that they kind of had listed, I wasn't really. I mean, I have Tetris 99, but my skills are kind of awful. So,
Ours are awful too. Like this isn't. None of this was like, oh, we're good at this game, so we're gonna play.
yeah.
It was just like, hey, we want to participate and get our asses kicked.
Fair enough.
We want to do our part to make other people feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
That's valid. Shoot, maybe I should have done it then. That would have made a lot of people.
And you
feel
did a
better.
great job at that.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell people. Like, we're not playing these games because we're good at them or whatever. It's just we're participating, and on the off chance that something would happen, like I think next year if they do something like this or whatever, like we should try to hit up. Actually, I was going to. I couldn't get off for the first day. So the only thing I could play was Rocket League. But I would have definitely the board games we probably would have done better at because
Probably.
they're less like Twitch hardcore gaming strats and techniques and more like, okay, I know how to play a board game, especially Uno. There's some thought to it, but a lot of it's luck. So we probably would have done better at something like that.
So
Right.
for the board games, did they use like Tabletop Simulator or like something
No.
else?
No, they used actual like game video game versions of board games
Oh,
that they had
okay.
available.
Neat.
Because there's a lot of games out there nowadays that have a video game version of it.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Asmodee Digital has like I think a ton of Fantasy Flight games and I forget the other manufacturers like Z-Man. But yeah, there's a ton, and they've been making them a lot for Android and iOS as well. So it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think chess came out on the computer yet?
I don't know. I'll have to check. I don't think
know.
anyone plays that.
Why don't you
Maybe Minesweeper.
why
Minesweeper.
don't you ask your friend Deep Blue or Watson?
All right. Moving on. So the next topic that we kind of had picked up was how Gearbox Union is doing spending time during the social distancing / stay at home situation. I know I don't really like to bring up, things of the world because this is kind of a fun zone and no like awful news of the world business
Yeah.
is allowed. But I think kind of talking about how we're spending our time would be a good thing for our listeners. Maybe we'll come up with something that they have wanted to do but they haven't known how to do it. I mean, look at us right
Yeah.
now. We're recording podcasts, which I think is
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah. And I think we can spin a positive angle to it of, hey, things suck, but we found something cool to do or something productive or creative or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully that kind of gives some light for our listeners here, and maybe give them some ideas. So, Joe, did I start with you last time? I did start with you last
Yes.
time.
You did.
Favoritism.
How about we start with the robot this time? Andrew, how are you spending your stay-at-home time?
Hold on, I'm buffering. No.
Classic.
So, thank you. No, so I actually I mean, I think there's an opportunity here, right? There's a lot of downtime, and so I started my stream and
Downtime.
started learning how to stream. It was funny. I was talking to my dad the other day, and he's like, "So, how's things going?" I'm like, "Well, I turned 13 again. I locked myself in my room, and I'm on my computer all day." Right? But yeah, I think it's important to try to learn something while we have the time, because how many times do you normally say, "Oh, I wish I could do this if I had the time"?
Right.
And I've been wanting to learn about streaming and get into the culture of it and the technical elements of it. And so that's really what I've been doing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you
And
definitely
cooking a lot more.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's weird. I like eat healthier than I've ever ate.
What have you been cooking? Have you learned any new techniques or anything?
Layering.
Layering.
Larry.
Yeah. So you cook one element of a dish, and then using the same pan, you cook the next element of it without cleaning. And so, like, you would say you want to make a sandwich with bacon on it, right? You
Mhm.
would first cook the bacon,
Mhm.
then you would use that same grease to cook the next piece of it. Maybe it's a burger, and you put the burger meat on. You cook it after the bacon, and so by doing so, you're constantly layering the same flavor into the next ingredient.
You know, I was gonna be snarky with this, but you know that it's these things. Like I grew up cooking and doing, and
I
I
did
felt
too with a microwave.
wow.
Fair.
That's because you were saying about layering. I was like, no fucking dumb, blah blah blah. But like, it makes me kind of realize like not everyone grew up cooking, and
Nope.
again, this is a cool. I mean, not so much the whole thing's cool, but like you said, there's an opportunity here for people that are able to learn something new or try something that they've been wanting to.
Yeah, I mean, even my boss is learning how to use Zoom and Twitch and all these other.
Your boss is learning how to use Twitch.
Yeah, like watch it at least.
Okay.
That's
I was
interesting.
about. Yeah, I was just curious what you meant
Like
by
and navigate it.
Interesting. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Anything else, Andrew?
No,
All right, Lee, how
pretty
about
much the Twitch.
you?
Yeah, I have been so one of the bigger things I've been doing a lot is a lot of D&D, which is nice. Which I've been watching Joe live stream his group onto the Gearbox Union Twitch channel, which has been very nice, and they're making good use of a lot of things. So actually watching them kind of in pushed me to look into like Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds and how exactly to run a good campaign digitally. And so on the weekends, on Saturdays, and I think we're gonna start when it lines up that no one else is streaming anything else. We might start streaming it to Twitch as well. But we've been doing kind of Gearbox Union one shots for D&D, where people can just drop in and out with whatever character they want to roll for one shot adventures. And we've been doing it the last month or two, which has been pretty great. Like the adventures we've been doing. Last night was the first time I DM'd one, and completely made something up from scratch. And there, we had people going and doing all that. We had a lot of hilarious things happen, especially with double natural ones.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there was a giant lighthouse falling, and they tried to run away, and two people rolled natural ones, and they got squished.
Ugh.
Yeah, not like completely dead squished, but they're hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's always
but
nice when the dice roll against you.
yeah, and I felt really bad too, because I haven't DM'd a lot, so like that happened, and I think they could hear in my voice that I was a bit distressed of like I didn't want to kill you, and actually Rodney was like, Lee, it's okay, you're not killing us, our dice are. And I was like, okay, I feel a little better. Like I presented a challenge and they failed real hard. It wasn't like I made it unfair or didn't give them chances. It was just that's how the fate of the dice went.
So how are you rolling dice?
For the group that we've been having, I actually physically rolling the dice in front of us. I as much as I like digital technology and stuff, like I'm a bit of a purist with some things. I know Joe, with your guys, I think you guys are doing a lot of the dice rolling digitally, right?
Yeah, about 75% of us are using digital, but some of us are still rolling regular dice.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, either way's valid. Why were you asking?
I was just curious, like, because you're not in the same room, right? Like, how does that work?
Oh yeah, I mean, we're all friends and we're all playing for fun and stuff. So I trust everybody's dice rolls. And like I said, there's something, at least for me, there's something about rolling the dice and actually having it, murder you or things coming up epically. I can super cool things coming up, super cool. Shut up.
Hey, I struggle
But
with words too. I can't really say anything.
I like words, but so yeah, that's for. So we've been doing that. I've been watching Joe. I've been watching some other things, and then have my like ongoing campaign as well with like Andrew. I'm in a Tombs of Annihilation campaign with him and a bunch of other people.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't play a robot in that, by the way.
No,
No.
you're not a Warforged.
No,
Nope.
he's not. He's not a Warforged. He's a smarmy ass sorcerer whose mom fucked a dragon.
That's true. That's 100% true.
All right.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is that everything for you, Lee?
Yeah, I'll stop talking now.
All right. Joe, what about you? What have you been doing to keep busy?
So Lee talked about a little bit of it, D&D. So we're running the oh my god, why can't I remember what it's called?
Dragon Heist.
Dragon Heist, yes, Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Which has been fun. It's a different take on a campaign that I've ever done or ever been part of. It's not as much just fighting. There's a lot of sandbox parts of the game as well, which is kind of neat to see. Let people do whatever they want, do side missions. It's been interesting. So that's been a lot of time of just prepping for the games and then figuring out how I can utilize Roll20 to give them a good experience as well.
Oh, so you are using Roll20 for that? Because I was gonna ask.
I am. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Roll20, and then in the last couple rounds of play, I actually used dynamic lighting in a sewer place that they were at, and it was really neat because I could see everything as the DM, but when they were playing, they could only see like the vision like they would have. So if they had dark vision, they could see farther than somebody else, and if somebody didn't have dark vision, they had to have a torch, otherwise they couldn't see anything. So that was kind of neat to add a dynamic to that. Added a lot of like suspense to them because they didn't know what was going on until they were up on it.
Right.
So that's been cool. I've been doing a lot of gaming. I figure the whole this whole COVID-19 thing is a big disruption to everybody's life. So the best way to get over it or to make do is to stay in routines. And if you can get into a routine that you've done before, great. So I've been trying to do things that I usually do. If it was in person, I try to do it remotely. So again, D&D is one of those. Thankfully, it seemed like it was a godsend at the time, but Animal Crossing New Horizons came out like right when we all got put on stay-at-home order. So that's been kind of a daily chore of a game to take care of. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake came out recently, which also is a pretty lengthy game, keeping me busy. As far as next things, I'm looking to get back into drumming. I haven't played my drums in a long time. So I recently invested in a digital set.
Oh, you got one?
For an electronic kit, yeah. So that's to arrive on Tuesday. So I imagine that'll be a lot of my time as well that arrives.
Nice.
Yeah. So what about you, Bethany? What have you been doing?
So for me, trying to get back to some sort of normal routine, kind of like what you hit on. I think that's part of like the worst that I've been struggling with this whole thing is figuring out my routine. Because a lot of it was like, go here, do this, go here, go that. So for me, we've moved both D&D campaigns that I'm a part of to the digital realm, I suppose you could say. My Saturday night crew, we're working through Out of the Abyss, and then my Sunday crew, we're working through a mixture of some homebrew stuff, Curse of Strahd, and Ghost of Saltmarsh, kind of mixed bag. So that's kind of neat. Like we're gonna play here shortly after we're done with this podcast.
Oh, cool.
We're actually
I was-
going to Castle Ravenloft this evening. So
Nice. I was gonna say I've always kind of wanted to play Curse of Strahd.
yeah, it's a fun campaign to play.
Yeah, because it's spoopy.
Yeah. So, and what's cool about this one is all the homebrew content. So we played a campaign about a year or so ago with characters, and then the homebrew part of this campaign is the same world just 100 years later. So all of our old characters, because they were really young half elves, they're all still alive, and our current characters have connections to them. So it's kind of a neat kind of tie into that. So yeah, so been doing that. I've actually started picking back up the bass a bit, which is quite nice. I have
Slapping that bass.
Yeah, I have missed playing bass, and I kind of forgot how much I enjoyed it. It was so funny. I tried to remember how to play Monkey Wrench by the Foo Fighters the other day, and I played through it like using not Rock Band, Rocksmith, and I was like, oh, my hands just do not like doing this because they're so out of practice.
Oh.
But yeah, you got to work back up to it. And yeah, Sunday. So Saturday's campaign, we don't really use like any online tools except for Skype. And then Sunday, we actually use Fantasy Grounds. So that's been kind of an interesting tool to kind of navigate and start playing around with, because I've always wanted to do like remote sessions, but never really explored the tools to do it. So this kind of forced that. I'm also working on learning some more Adobe, like with doing this. And my After Effects video that I created where I put a fireball in my hand, that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
Because once this whole thing's over with, I think, filming projects are going to come back. So I want to start playing around with that. And streaming. Yeah, that's pretty much been me. I've been trying to keep busy, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been pretty good. So I hope viewers out there, I hope you listeners.
I was gonna say.
I'm so used to streaming that
They're viewing with their ear holes.
Yes, I'm so used to streaming that I'm like viewers and you're not viewing at all.
No, they're not ear holes. They're ear balls.
Ear balls?
Ear balls. Like
Excuse-
eyeballs.
Excuse me?
What?
Like eyeballs, but for your ears.
Ears.
So they're ear balls
I got it.
for hearing.
Excuse me?
Hey,
Bless you.
I am a medical professor.
A medical professor?
No.
No, that was a medical professor.
I'll
Cannot
have you know
compute.
I'm a medical professor.
How much have you been drinking?
Not. I had one wicked lemonade.
Ah.
3 seconds ago.
You pansy.
3 seconds ago.
What? It's good, Joseph. Get off my dick.
So,
I'm not. I'm on your ear balls.
Oh, Bethany.
yes.
Bethany.
Yes.
I forgot one important thing. You need to come up with a title of this episode.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
I
like
think you got it.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Ear balls? Question mark.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
No, that's
think-
perfect.
I think that's it.
Yep.
Earballs question mark. That there we go. I wrote it in my
But-
notes.
Yeah.
It's
Enjoy this
official.
podcast with your ear balls.
Indeed.
This podcast is so lit, your ear balls will bleed.
Oh God.
As a medical professional, that
Yeah.
shouldn't happen.
Just make sure you have a medical professional nearby.
Oh, jeez.
Indeed. So
They can
anyway,
administer first merge.
I almost spit my drink out.
oh geez. So yeah. Anyway, as I was saying a bit ago, I hope our listeners, you guys, I hope, with your earballs, um, kind of are doing okay out there in the world, and finding something to occupy your time, in this weird freaking situation that we're in right now. And I wish you guys all the best. Stay healthy and stay happy. So, next topic of business is our nice little game review. So, as we said in the beginning of the podcast, we're going to review Resident Evil 3. Resistance, thank you. I was like, there's a lot of R's in my statement there.
Yeah.
And the way that this kind of will work is that so Joe and Lee have played it,
Yeah.
and Andrew, I don't believe, have you played it yet?
No.
No, we haven't bought it for him yet.
That is not how this works.
That's not how this works. So essentially, how this is going to work, every podcast we're going to be doing some sort of review, whether it be a video game or a nerdy, a book, a TV show, a movie, something along that line, and then we're going to kind of split the room, I guess you could say, and half of us are going to watch, play, read, whatever it is that we're going to review, and then the other part of the room will act kind of as the audience, and ask some questions. So, without any further ado here, Joe, Lee, do you guys want to maybe give like a description of the game, and then maybe go into what you thought about it, like with your first impressions, how long you've been playing, is it a co-op, is it a single player, kind of go into that, and then maybe we'll do some Q&A.
Okay.
Sure.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
Lee, why don't we split it up into sections? Since
I was just going to suggest that why don't you talk about being a survivor and I will
okay.
talk about being a mastermind.
So yeah, let me give a recap of the game. So the game is built upon the Resident Evil 3 remake engine. So basically, what happens is you're split into basically a party of 4 survivors that are basically locked up, and you wake up in like a escape house that's run by Umbrella Corp. While you're trying to escape, there is what you call the mastermind, which is basically like the Saw guy who is putting booby traps down, creating zombies, and all that stuff. And we'll let Lee go into more depth for that. But within the party of 4, the survivors, there's I think 6 people you can
6.
choose from. Yeah, each of them have different skills. And there's a healer, there's somebody who's good at electronics, there's somebody good at brute force, there's a nerd who's good at like hacking things. So there's a lot of stuff there. A lot of it is you rushing through this before the mastermind can overtake you or overcomplicate, and everything is timed, so you have to get out within a certain amount of time. Anytime anything bad happens to a survivor, it takes time off the clock. Anytime anything bad happens to the mastermind, it adds time to the clock, so you have more time to get away. But it's been very enjoyable, especially with 4 people trying to team up against one crazy ass person, which is where Lee comes in.
Hi! I have never cackled so much while playing a game as I have with this one. So where as the survivor, it's kind of your general kind of interface where it's a shooter. You're running around grabbing items, you're shooting monsters, avoiding traps, and all that. As the mastermind, though, you're basically sitting in a control room looking through video feeds and watching the survivors. And so through the video feeds, you can lock doors, turn off the lights, place zombies, and they have a whole range of different zombies. Um, so different zombies, traps like landmines or foot traps or virus bombs, and then even directly through the camera you can turn it into a gun turret and directly attack the survivors that way. But it's very like Joe just listening to Joe scream as he comes into a room, I lock the door behind him, I shut off the lights, and a bunch of zombies like right when he's about to like try to attack these zombies that are coming for him, he steps into a foot trap which traps him. Like it is like I'm starting to just kind of like laugh just thinking about about it. Like if you ever wanted to be the as he put like the Saw guy, or the evil mastermind in a Bond movie or something with ridiculous traps, like playing as the mastermind is for you. And honestly, when you have a good team, like it becomes pretty challenging as well, because like because there's a balance you have to strike, because if you just throw monsters at them without any real like surprise to it, every monster they kill adds time to the clock, so you have to judge it like, okay, I'll lock this door, I'll funnel them this way, I'll put these kind of monsters here and this trap there, so they kind of spring it all at once and have to deal with it. So it is there's some thought process to trying to be a good mastermind. But and one other thing that you get to do as the mastermind is there's 4 different masterminds you can be, and they all have different you basically almost have like a magic deck, a deck of cards that come up, and you can spend the card and then it shuffles through and gives you another one, and that's how you get to pick what zombies and stuff you're putting down. But but yeah, the last thing you get to do is every mastermind has a giant bioweapon, which is if you've played Resident Evil, I'm forgetting his name, the second guy. Oh, Birkins. Basically the giant monster from Resident Evil 2. You directly control these guys.
So they're not on the countertop.
Or Mr. X from the original, or from Mr. X was from the original.
Yeah, he was from the original.
Yeah, Mr. X chasing you from the original and stuff, or the giant plant monster. Like, so you directly control them to go after the survivors and smush their stupid heads.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's a pretty general overview of the game and why we like it. And like we've said, I've been mostly playing the mastermind because I love it, and Joe's mostly been playing the survivor.
Correct.
So, out of curiosity, say you only have 2 people, does one have to be the mastermind, or does it autofill matchmaking like a lot of other multiplayers?
So right now, there's no autofill if one person wants to be the mastermind and another person wants to be a survivor. You can group up and be a team of survivors, anywhere from two. You can have 2 to 4 people in a group to be survivors. But the mastermind, if it's all your friends, you can make a public match and one person be the mastermind, one person sit in the survivor, and hope people come into your game. But yeah, right now, and
So I guess what I'm asking is, if I don't have any friends that play
Mhm.
and I get the game,
Yes. So
how do I play with other people?
So with that, you if you play as a mastermind, it will autofill a team of survivors for you.
So what you're saying is I can get the game and then just be an asshole to a bunch of people I don't know.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah,
I feel like everybody should buy that then.
I know, right? And you know what's the best part is you can do 2 modes for the voice. You can either have the like each mastermind is representing a bad guy out of the Resident Evil series. So either you can have them doing, voice. There's voice acting that will they'll basically do evil monologues and stuff for you as you're playing as they're going through the level. Or you can turn that off and broadcast it yourself, just your own voice, to the survivors and taunt them and cackle at them.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Oh, that would be so awesome with a voice overlay.
Oh my god, you could do that.
I think you just gave him an idea.
Run away,
Yeah.
little girl, run away.
Yeah, and you can ask Joe. I've like taunted them and cackled at them the whole time.
Oh, just like a creepy little girl.
Yeah, he maniacally laughs the whole time. Like, we'll walk into a room and there'll be like a giant zombie, and he'll just be like, ah, 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 just like shouting, and it's like, oh my god, I hate it.
There was actually 0% of that sounded maniacal.
Well,
And knowing that it came from Lee,
yeah.
it was like, ha ha ha.
No,
It's like shout laughing. It's weird.
And then it's like, are
Oh.
you guys okay? I'm sorry.
No.
Yes,
No.
You're gonna need a medical professional after this.
It's work
I
on your
hate you.
You better
earballs.
run away or something.
No, like Joe can tell you, like, this scratches an itch for me because I'm so nice in real life that this allows me to just
Yeah, it almost comes too natural. It freaks me out.
So this is a way he channels his inner sociopath.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh, it all makes sense.
and we should all be happy that's how he does it. Because if he found another medium, I imagine we would all be in trouble.
Oh, boy.
It's probably being a metal professional.
I wonder how you'd spell
That's so
that.
great.
Because, like, I'm between that or
There's a lot of
earballs.
R's.
Well, there we'll give our listeners some homework. That's your homework. Tweet at us how you would spell professional.
Professional.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You'll have to go listen to the replay and see if you can figure it out.
I think it's like that guy in Joe Dirt.
The homework you make it.
Yeah.
What?
Goddamn boy, everybody know
Would
that.
you like to be a medical professional? Yes.
we're supposed to be reviewing a video game, not make fun of Lee time.
That's
no,
the same thing.
We're reviewing Lee.
And it's
Oh, yeah.
after.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a survivor then,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think is the most challenging part?
It's getting everybody to execute the same amount, like the same way.
So it's kind of like being in one of those what are those places that are popping up everywhere?
Escape rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly like an escape room. So I guess I didn't go into this part, but when you start out, there's 3 areas to each like place that you're at. So the first part's grab some puzzle pieces and complete a puzzle, and then it opens the next door. The next one is you have to kill a zombie that's dressed like a police officer, and he drops a key card, and then you have to go hack some key terminals, and then that gets you to the next place. And the third one is there's like some bio tubes that you have to destroy, and they only open up one at a time. So if you have somebody just dilly-dallying and picking their ass in a corner, like, you're screwed. Because when Lee and I tried before, when we first started playing, we only had, two people
Yeah.
for survivors,
Mhm.
and the mastermind is too strong if you don't have a full team. So if you have 4 people, but you only really have 3 bodies, there's no way you can.
I've seen people do, and they get. You can do it with less than 4 people, but you have to be really good, and everybody has to be on top of their stuff. Having
Right.
having a full crew kind of takes the pressure off a little bit, and definitely keeps the mastermind on his toes. But
Interesting.
and I was gonna say, so off of Joe's point, the most difficult thing to be a mastermind is to be able to get out ahead of the survivors. Because when you spawn stuff in, there's like a delay where it a thing gets created on the ground and they kind of rise up out of it, and then it takes a minute for them to, like, they're vulnerable though. Like, the zombie will be laying on the ground and they have to, like, get up and get standing, and then they'll actually attack people. So if you spawn it right in front of a survivor and they're not distracted or anything, they'll just beat it in the head and be done with it, and then they get extra time on the clock. So you have to get out ahead of them and be like, okay, they're gonna have to pass through this area. Like, I should start setting up an ambush here.
So you almost have to be a multi-thinker.
Mm-hmm.
Or a multi-step thinker.
You definitely have to, because a lot of it's not too much of a challenge for you to attack one obstacle at a time, but when it becomes a bitch is when they combo you with those cards. So, like, for instance, the thing Lee does often is he has the ability to shut a door and lock it. And so when you lock a door, you basically cause the survivor to have to shoulder bash the door until it opens. And when they shoulder bash, they have forward momentum going through the doorway. So he'll often put, like, a foot grabber on the other side of the door, or an explosive, or a zombie right there to grab you as soon as you come through. And so a lot of it comes to Lee's point, knowing that, hey, they're probably going to go to this door next. So let me load a 1-2 combo in here so that when they come in, it's just like pure chaos.
Mm-hmm. Also, it's so, but on the other side of it, there's getting out ahead of it and setting out a ambush, but then you also need to keep an eye on where they directly are, because sometimes you can split the party. Like, a couple of them get through a door and the other 2 are hanging back, so you block that door off, shut the lights off. Suddenly they're separated. You can start trying to pick people off if you can. So yeah, it's a lot of tasking. And then there's even, I forgot the one other thing that you can do as a mastermind is some of the levels have elevators and stuff that they have to go up and down with. You can actually, as the mastermind, you can trigger those too, so you can separate them out or end up trapping them somewhere. But yeah, and honestly, like, I love having a full party and making it actually challenging for myself to try to outthink them and run
So
them
is it
through the maze.
cross-platform?
It is not cross-platform, unfortunately. At
So
least at the moment.
But do they have it for multiple platforms?
Yes, they do.
And what
So what do you
platform?
guys typically play on?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
We're playing on PC.
So what? All right. So this is something I run into as a problem a lot with PC games that either are cross-platform or made for multiple platforms. Can you change your button configuration?
I believe so.
Yes, you can.
I know you can do look inversion because I do that, but
Because you're a weirdo.
it's because I was brought up on like time splitters and games like that were look inverted.
I mean, I did too.
Now, Joe, I'm not really familiar. Can you explain what look conversion is?
Yeah, so on your right stick, usually when you look around, It used to be when they first came out was that if you held down on the stick, you looked up. If you held up, you looked down. But recently they made it now that when you hit up, you look up. When you hit down, you look down.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, okay.
So I always invert because I got used to looking down or hitting down to look up and up to look down.
yeah, airplane controls basically.
Right.
Yep.
Interesting.
But and actually, you can play with a controller or a mouse and keyboard.
Right. I use a controller because I'm not good with mouse and keyboard.
I use a keyboard. One thing I will say to make it a review is there is a little bit of jank to the game right now. I think some of that,
Jank, is that a medical professional term?
yes,
Medical
Okay.
professional.
professional. But that's the best way I can describe it. Is there's a little bit of jank because it's. I mean, they did a beta for it and everything, and so I think over time, that with patching and as they kind of balance things out, it will get even better and be more. I was even gonna say, like, I at least for myself, I haven't had any trouble with it crashing on me or being booted out of games or anything. There's just a little bit of glitchiness at times. Either it's really glitchiness with the controls a little bit is about the only thing.
So it's not a latency thing like in first-person shooters. If one person has a shorter latency than the other person, they may have the bead on the shot.
No.
No,
Okay.
it's
No, it's more of like if you go up to a door and hit like the interact button, it doesn't take it the first time, or you go to pick up an item and it doesn't pick it up, or
You
Yeah,
sure
you
your
kinda-
batteries aren't just running out in your mouse?
no, because I have it hardwired.
no. It's one of those like you're not. You know what? I'll attribute it to like the old point and click adventure games where you weren't looking at the right pixel at the right time
Yep.
to do it. So yeah, it's stuff like that, and on the mastermind side of things is you're trying to play a strategy game from a first person perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
interesting.
so that's it can be a little until you get it down of how everything works, because when you play a card to spawn something, they appear on the ground and then you slide the silhouette around on the ground to exactly where you want to place it, and you can rotate it and do whatever. So yeah, it's just the mastermind does take a little bit of getting used to. But something I want to mention it as well for the masterminds and the survivors. Well, actually, I'll talk about the mastermind side of things. Is that you actually level the different masterminds as well? So you unlock equipment slots, and you can put in different things like your cooldown on playing. Cooldown on energy is better. Cooldown on locking doors and turning off lights is slower. The zombies have a higher infection rate. Explosives do more damage. Like, you can slot in different equipment to customize your masterminds. You also can customize your decks, which is literally what it sounds like. Like, you have a deck of cards for spawning stuff, and you can say, like, you can pick what cards you want to use, and then that you can customize your decks. Oh, I forgot, and something I haven't played around with yet is there's 4 different maps right now for it, and all the things in it are well, it gives you 4 different presets and then random. So it's actually like the puzzle pieces they have to find, the traps and zombies and locked doors that are already in the level when it creates, you can customize as well. So instead of people getting, recognizing like, oh, if this puzzle piece is here, then the other two are going to be here. You can customize the whole map
Okay.
as a
That makes sense.
mastermind.
That's good because if it be, it's most of us playing games have a pretty decent pattern recognition now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you first start out, they lock you into a deck and presets of map, and then when you level up and kind of um, unlock the mastermind, I think you just have to get them to level 5, which isn't hard at all. But then it unlocks it. Basically, I think they do that so you don't, fuck up your mastermind setup without knowing anything.
Well, I asked all my questions. Bethany, do you have any? I kind of been talking a lot.
So I do, and we're kind of running down on time here. So, as kind of a final thought, out of 5 stars, what would you rate it? And what kind of um, what kind of gamers out there would you suggest this game to? Lee, we'll start with you first.
Okay. I also just wanted to. I know we're running out of time. I was going to mention the customizing is on the survivor end of things too, where you unlock equipment slots and you can adjust. You can, according to your play style, you can change up your characters. But one second. I'd give it a 4 out of 5 stars if we're going on that scale. Maybe a 9 out of 10 if we're going on that scale, because I feel like it's a little closer to that. Maybe a little. Anyways, 4 out of 5. And mostly that loss of a star is just to the jank. The jank and it being a brand new game. I feel like it will definitely improve in the future with patching and balancing everything. So like I said, I loved it. I've never cackled so much and had so much fun torturing my friends. So it's just a really, really good and satisfying. Even when I lose, like even when I lose as the mastermind, like getting to play with them and running it. You know what it feels like, kind of, is if you enjoy DMing a D&D game, it has that same. Maybe a little more malicious than being a DM in D&D, or at least I hope so. But yeah, it definitely has that same, gives you that same feeling of like if you're running a party through a dungeon, getting to spring traps on them and monsters and all that. As far as players, I would say people who like strategy games, and people who like survival horror games. I think if you like shooter games, there's potential for you to like it, but it's definitely not like a Call of Duty or Fortnite. It's not super high Twitch movements, fat and super fast combat kind of, and no scope 180ing people. It's much more of a little bit slower and deliberate in terms of the shooting.
Gotcha. All right, Joe, how about you?
Real quick, just so we're clear, it's 4.5 out of 5 equals 9 out of 10.
Oh, thank you for that clarification.
I know. That's why.
Lee's not a master.
That's why I changed it. I said I didn't want to start breaking up stars, so that's why I changed it from 4 out of 5 to 9 out of 10.
Okay, well then we'll go out of 10 stars then. We can do that. That's fine. This is the
No,
first.
we're gonna change it every time.
All right, that works too.
Next time it's gonna be
Out of 6.
out of 3 out of 8 happy faces.
All right, Joe, how about you?
So ranking, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 for professionals, and the reason I give it a 3.5 is to the point of Lee, the jankiness of having to be very specific on what you're looking at to pick stuff up. And the second is unless you have a full team to play with on the survivor side and like that you can talk to,
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard to play. And 9 times out of 10, when you play online with some like and pick up a fourth person, they don't talk and they just go off and do whatever they want.
Gotcha.
So that is kind of a barrier to it being super fun. However, we did meet that one dude that one night, and he was hilarious.
Yeah, and we're friends. I'm friends with him on Steam.
Yeah, I
now.
am too.
He was awesome.
Yeah, but again, like he was the exception. We usually ended up with people who don't talk and they just run off, or they call you names while they're running off and dying. So yeah.
The beauty of co-op games.
Yep. And as far as who I suggested to, I would say survival horror games. Those type people. It's not a first-person shooter from the survivor side. It's a third-person shooter.
Mhm.
So if you played Resident Evil 4, 5, or 6, well, I guess not 6. 6 was first person.
You mean
Or
7?
the remake, or 7. I'm sorry, yeah, 7 was first person. So yeah, so that's those are the people I would suggest it to.
Or if you like co-op stuff too, I guess.
Yeah, if you're a big fan of like play against the game type board games, probably like that.
Or like escape rooms from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you guys for your review and your ranking and your suggestions. So I hope this review was kind of helpful to our listeners out there with your earballs. Resident Evil 3, what the heck is it called again?
Remake.
Well, it's
Resistance.
it's the Resident Evil 3 remake, and it comes with Resident Evil Resistance as the multiplayer component.
Ah, okay. Hence why I kept getting it a little confused there. Yeah, so I hope this was helpful, and if you were thinking about it, maybe go buy it and
Yeah.
watch Lee
If you
or
have any-
Joe stream it.
I was gonna say, I would request that everyone listening would go to Istos Gaming and blow up his feed, asking why he hasn't bought the game yet.
Tell him you're there to watch Resident Evil.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
And yeah, if you have any other questions or suggestions for reviews for the next podcast, hit us up on Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah. So it's what are our social media?
At Gearbox Union on Twitter and Facebook.com/GearboxUnion on Facebook.
Yeah.
There you go.
By the way, depending on how this goes, if you want to make a official Gearbox Union podcast Twitter, feel free.
Well, we may do that.
Not the listeners. You bet.
I got it. Yeah, listeners,
Don't steal our name.
So yeah, maybe that's a thing that I will explore, friends. So we're about out of time. Do you guys have a one closing thought that you want to leave our listeners with, and then we'll say our goodbyes?
Yeah. So you guys are probably sick and tired of hearing this, but remember to social distance and make sure you do the right thing, because not only can you affect yourself, but you can affect others with your actions. So try to be courteous and help our healthcare professionals from being overwhelmed.
Way to sneak it in there one last time, Joe. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was actually well staged. Even I'll give you that.
Yeah, touche. Andrew?
I would just say thank you, Bethany, for putting this together.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Clap.
Aw,
Yeah.
I feel so special.
Yeah.
I'll send you applause.
Yeah, applause.
Applause.
Yeah, no. Joe, do you have anything?
I already said.
Oh, you
Yeah.
did. Lee.
Yeah.
Lee.
Me.
Sorry.
I am the one who speaks now.
Would you like John Kimball to say something?
Yes. Things are going so well. Lee, how about you?
Yeah. I'm also gonna say thank you, Bethany, and I'm so proud of you for doing this.
Aw.
And again, just take care of yourself and take care of others. I love all you guys, and remember to support not only during this time, everything else going, but remember the children's hospitals are dealing with this as well. So any support that you could give them, either directly or through us with Extra Life or Child's Play, please donate. Please spread the news, our feeds, all that, to help out, because being able to support them does do a lot.
Lee, if somebody wanted to help by joining Extra Life, how would they find our team page?
Actually, www.gearboxunionftk.com will take them directly to our Extra Life team page, and you guys are more than welcome to join up and be a part of the team.
All right. I think those are all very good closing comments. Thank you for plugging the Extra Life page because I couldn't remember what the URL was.
I do that from my brain meats.
Fair enough. Well, and I guess that leaves me. So, my last thought is thank you guys for being patient and kind of helping me through navigating, moderating this first go at it.
Yeah.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And
What's the name of the podcast?
the Gearbox Union Mandatory Downtime Podcast Social Distancing Edition. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
Woo!
dun. Check us out on Twitch. Check us out on the social medias. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you later, friends.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Au revoir.
Bye-bye.